timeline for it, which is why there is now a faster delivery of decisions and resolutions from
So
the
the
courts.
continuous trial system, although overall it's been ideal
Yes, Your
and it's
Honor.
being followed, but
Yes.
there are in fact really cases of
Yes, Your Honor.
delays and not really being compliant with the continuous trial,
Yes, Your Honor.
continuous trial
Yes, Your
system.
Honor. Yes, Your
Because
Honor.
it would take 5 years, 7 years, just
Yes,
like
Your Honor.
the disposition of the cases against me. Now, I also
Yes.
understand that the delays are often caused by other justice sector agencies. And you mentioned about the JSCC. Kasi yung delays hindi lamang on the part of the judges,
Yes, Your
and
Honor.
would also on the part of the DOJ through the prosecutors and even the public attorney's office. And you mentioned earlier about, there are always various strategies and motions being filed just to delay. So in that regard, the mechanisms in dealing with those delays attributed to the other justice sector actors are actually addressed through the JSCC. Is that the only mechanism you have now?
That's one of them, Your Honor. But I would like to think, Your Honor, that the delays is really into the procedural rules, because we really cannot step on the adjudicative process, which is substantive in nature. So the procedural rules, I may be happy to tell you, Your Honors, even if this is still undergoing, there are current subcommittees formed by the Supreme Court, a revision on the rules on criminal procedure, rules on evidence, rules on special proceedings, rules on ethics, rules on civil procedure. Even if it was just amended last 2020 during the pandemic, it is still undergoing
There is
revision.
regular
Yes.
regular
Yes, Your Honor.
updating
Yes,
of
Your
all
Honor.
this
Yes, Your Honor.
these rules. And I could also say that with respect to JSCC, that one of its remarkable initiatives are the creation, of the justice zones.
Yes, Your
And you even have special justice zones. Is the creation of the justice zones still being implemented?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Ongoing po yun.
Very much active, Your Honor.
Nadadagdagan
Opo.
yung mga justice zones, including the special justice
Yes.
zones. So I have a few minutes left, or a few seconds left. May I just tackle something? This has nothing to do with the budget,
Yes, Your Honor.
but I just noticed, and I think some other lawyers would also would agree with me, this observation that there are more and more cases now of acquittals being elevated to appellate courts. It's either through the regular appeal or through certiorari.
So sure.
And we know, all of us, the lawyers know about the rule of finality and unappealable acquittals,
Yes,
subject to certain exceptions laid down by jurisprudence.
Yes, Your
but only jurisprudence, like sham trials,
Yes.
that it's mistrial, there is violation of due process on the part of the prosecution. But is there any move or any plan for the judiciary as a whole, especially for the Supreme Court, to really look into those rising cases of acquittal being appealed despite the constitutional prescription against double jeopardy?
Yes, Your Honor. I am aware, Your Honor, that there is, because the rules are ongoing, being drafted, and it still has to be submitted to the Supreme Court and banc. But I do know for a fact, Your Honor, that it's within the context provision of Rule 65, and it's being re-examined, Your Honor.
So it's good to hear that,
Yes,
the
Your Honor.
re-examination of
Yes,
that,
Your Honor.
to prevent further, it's becoming to be a phenomenon,
Yes,
actually.
Your Honor. Yes, Your
So
Honor.
please
Yes.
seriously re-examine this situation. Thank you
you
very
very
much. That's all I have for now.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Minority Leader Laila de Lima. The next in the list is from the majority, Congressman Tony Boy Roman. Floor
Good
is yours.
morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, Your Honors.
Good morning, Your Honor.
I think the line of questioning so far has been on the theme, justice delayed is justice denied. And also, especially if it's at the expense of the marginalized. Yeah, one sector was farmers. I think you have the data. You know the data more than I do with respect to Supreme Court cases. But am I correct in assuming that a lot of these cases involve land and also agrarian issues, agrarian cases?
We have designated special courts, Your Honors, to act on agrarian disputes. We designate cadastral courts, Your Honor, and there are in every city or municipality.
But with respect to pending cases in the Supreme Court, do you have a program in place to actually close the gap or bridge the gap in these cases, or like a prioritization of cases so that older cases are resolved sooner than later?
Your Honor, since that is that your comment and your observations being taken note of, Your Honor, and we will bring it to the attention of the banc, Your Honor, to take to particular focus on the agrarian cases and the marginalized farmers.
Oh, kaya ako binanggit yan. As a lawyer, marami ho lumalapit sa akin in Bataan. And of course, a lot of them are farmers. And they tell me, cases that have been pending for decades. So it's, wala ho kung may sagot. Kundi, ang final arbiter, sinasabi ko, Supreme Court. Another question is, well, first, I laud the Supreme Court for modernizing and embracing technology to expedite the administration of justice. In line with that, is there any effort to actually promote electronic discovery? Why is that? Because we all know that in these times, a lot of the information is already virtual. A lot of the information is online.
Yes.
In fact, the smoking gun, as they say, is found in emails. Kasi loose po eh. Yung email, so doon may masasabi, especially evidence of conspiracy. Yung sabwatan, nag-uusap sa isang kumpanya. But at the trial court level, where the litigants are supposed to have access to this information, they don't have the means, they don't know what the protocol is, they don't know how to do it, they don't know in what form they can get it, the scope of electronic discovery they're entitled to, whether it's just the email or including the metadata, yung mga fingerprints na humawak sa email, not in a virtual sense. They don't get a hold of that. And my impression is, we're still in this stage of parang naka-print out pa rin yung mga ebidensya natin when we already know the conversation is happening as ephemeral data in Viber, in Telegram, email. So how is the Supreme Court addressing this evidence to make it more accessible to the parties para maiwasan yung taguan?
Thank you, Your Honor. Other than the rules on electronic evidence, there is a subcommittee again, Your Honor, on redrafting rules on evidence. And we will take note of that, Your Honor, and bring it to as one of their items for discussion and deliberation. It's still ongoing, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Is there an effort to make discovery electronic along the along that
Yes.
line?
Yes, Your
And make
Honor.
electronic discovery, especially electronic discovery, mandatory,
Yes, Your Honor.
so that the party is obligated to actually sit down with the adverse party and come up with a discovery protocol so that they can exchange information, so that the information will inform decisions and we will have better decisions.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. We will.
Meron.
Yes.
Second po yung sa in your presentation po earlier, I see yung mga technological reforms that you've been doing, which is great, the electronic filing. Meron na ho bang electronic filing at the trial court level? And at the Court of
Yes
Appeals?
po. Yes,
Okay,
yes, Your Honor.
That's good to know.
Yes, it actually started with the civil cases, and the pilot port for criminal cases is with the Sandigan Bayan.
Oh, very
Yes,
good.
Your Honor.
Yung ano ho, is there an effort to authorize yung electronic notary, e-notary, and what is the status po of that? And if is a e-notary project reflected in the proposed budget?
Yes, Your Honor. It is for the yes, Your Honor. It should be reflected in the budget because it is in the redrafting again of our rules on e-notarization.
How
Which
much
is
was the budget
which
for
is
that?
ongoing.
How big was the budget?
There's no wala naman pong particular.
Subject to bidding, or
Thank you po. There is I mean Okay, I'm sorry for the delay in the answer, Your
Opo.
Honor.
No.
But there is a committee on e-notarization. As a matter of fact, Your Honor, headed by an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. And as of now, Your Honor, there is an ongoing a position open for an e-notary administrator. So there's a complement staff already to monitor the e-notarization documents.
and once it is launched or rolled out, ano ho, what is it would be applied to?
Yeah.
Can you expound
Yes, Your
exactly the
Honor.
scope of the?
Yes. Actually, Your
program?
Honor, notaries public are required to submit a scanned copy already of the notarized documents, and that is being tracked by our court management office. So we've started with that kind of submission. So there's a streamlined procedure for that one. But how to oversee it, how to supervise it, there's a committee, existing committee. We are just in need of an e-notarization administrator to be able to oversee the entire procedure.
Is a e-notary, will that be subject to bidding or?
Not a bidding, Your Honor. It's an accreditation of, sorry. Okay, oo naman. Sorry po. I seem to have misunderstood your question, but I get it now. Isn't it, Your Honor, that notaries public, simply because you're a lawyer, you're not automatically a notary public. You have to apply before a certain region, before the executive judge. And there are qualifications for it likewise because of the executive judge, there are rules to follow, and primary of them is the authentication of the signature, because we do know that there are a lot of notarized documents that do not even reflect a member of the bar. So we need to likewise control that process. But so far, our rules would say instead of submitting a notary the notarial register, these notarial documents are scanned and submitted through electronically through the executive judges or through their respective clerks of court, to which the clerks of court will now submit it to our centralized office of the court management office, which is why there is a need to now see through the entire thing because of the easier filing and submission through e-filing, Your Honors.
Is there any initiative to actually allow, because as we know, to get the document notarized, you need a personal appearance, to allow
Your
basically a
Honor.
video, like a video
Your
with that's what I mean by e-notary. Is there an
Yes, Your
effort in that direction?
There are rules on e-notarization, Your Honor.
And
It's part of it.
is it already in effect?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Since the pandemic, Your Honor,
Okay.
it was made mandatory by the pandemic.
Last few questions. Regarding sa trial court po, is there an effort to promote to make it more to basically promote more frequent communication between the judge and the litigating parties? So more teleconferences, more letter writing, instead of having to file motions every time, or maybe a way